It's like all that I've been looking for was placed up on my lap. Sometimes life is funny, my favorite stand-up act. Cause sometimes it show me things that make me wanna laugh. Other times I don't find it funny and want my money back. Told you before you're beautiful and I want this to last. And you my snack, my Captain Crunch, do you recall like Honey Smacks? We vibing, chopping it up like we swung a axe. Don't ask about your DMs, know it's a lot of squares like lumberjacks. But just in case a triangle come try to take you, I'ma make sure I do everything in my power they can.
Welcome back to the Moonchild Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah KB, and today we're going to be discussing why you should be detoxing from your phone and or social media. So, obviously, we can't put our phones to the side completely, right? Because of the genius way they set it up, where the powers that want to be have conveniently put everything that you would ever need damn near on your phone. You understand? So whether it's your grocery shopping, whether it's your money, your job, your way to make money, you know what I mean? Entertainment, everything. They thought of everything damn near, right? Everything is on your phone. So this was a very genius way to get you on your phone 24/7. So I've taken the liberty of creating notes for this podcast episode. The first thing on the list we got, to avoid constant comparison of your life to others, right? To avoid constant comparison between your life and others. Okay? So this is a no-brainer, right? It might not be, it might be so simple that we miss it. It might be one of those things we look over, and it's become so normalized that we don't realize that we're doing it. But in a lot of ways, and a lot of times, when we spend a lot of time on these social media sites and our phones or whatever, we tend to start to compare our lives with other people. You know what I mean? And the problem with that, one, is your life and your path is unique to you, right? So there is no comparison. There's only one you uniquely, just you. That's the first problem. Second problem is a lot of these social media apps are only showing you the highlights of another person's life. You understand? So they're getting the perfect lighting. They're creating the perfect pose or taking the perfect pose. You know what I mean? They're getting the perfect angle. They're only showing you them on the up and up. They're not showing you their actual life. So in your mind, it makes you think like you don't got your shit together, and that you might start to stress out about where you are in your journey, instead of realizing that, for one, my journey is not to be compared to anybody else's. For two, a lot of these people who are showing you this shit, that's not their everyday life. You understand? That's not where they're at for real. So what you're even comparing yourself to is not even real. It's not even a real thing. It's not even a real persona that you're putting yourself up against. So it's unfair to you. And as I said before, your life and your path is not to be compared to anybody else's, because you are uniquely you. Whatever your journey is, whatever your purpose is, it's not the next person's. And how long it takes for you to get from point A to point B is not to be compared to anybody else's life, because it's uniquely yours. So what's the comparison about? Can you truly compare apples and oranges? You can, but what sense does that make, right? So remember that. If you're going for a goal or a dream or whatever you want to call it, you got plans for your future, you're trying to, take interest in a certain career, you know what I mean? And you want to do something with your life specifically, Yes, we can look to others for inspiration. That's fine. But let it stop at inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Any sort of whatever you're pulling from another person's path, let it stop at inspiration, because when you started comparing different things that society makes us think about, right? So you might be thinking about where you're at right now, where you're starting from. You might be thinking about your age. You know what I'm saying? You might think at a certain age I shouldn't be trying to do this. You understand? You may be thinking you have to do it one way, or the ways it's been presented to you by others, when in reality sometimes you can be a trailblazer. You can do it your own way. You understand? There's more than one way to skin a cat. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're on your social media sites for your entertainment or what have you. Keep that in mind. Your life is not to be compared to anybody else's. Okay. Second thing I got on the list is to help you get back to your real life / present moment. We spend a lot of time on these sites. We spend a lot of time on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever the fuck, all that shit, Snapchat, all that, right? So much so to the point where we don't leave ourselves enough time to actually live life. You know what I mean? Our time is constantly, going towards these social media sites, mindlessly scrolling constantly for hours. It takes hours from your life. You can be living your real life. You can be doing something productive in your actual life for real. You know what I'm saying? But we got so overly invested in these phones, and mind you, like I said, the powers that would like to be, and I say that because we're truly the more powerful ones, but we don't understand that yet, but we'll get there. They, like I said before, they've conveniently put everything on your phone. So anytime you have a thought or you want to do something, your phone is 9 times out of 10 associated with whatever you think to do, whatever you need to do throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? If you need to contact somebody, obviously your phone, right? If you need to buy something, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us are using Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever. So again, your phone. We want to look up things, doing our own research or research in general. Phone, entertainment, phone. You know what I'm saying? Everything, damn near everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything is related to the phone now. So they've made it obvious. I mean, they've made it easy for us to get trapped into just using the phone constantly. You know what I'm saying? We don't really live life outside of the phone. So this is why I say we have to make a conscious effort to detox from our phones at some point throughout our day. Let's make time for real life, like the real shit, not the everything that comes with being addicted to the screen. Okay, so take time out to go outside, meditate, spend time with loved ones, spend time with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be in the present moment, some form of fashion. Find things that allow you to be in the present moment. Take up a hobby or exercise your hobbies that you already do. A lot of us think we don't have time to do our hobbies, but in actuality, if you look at our lives, a lot of it is going towards the phone anyway. So those 4 hours that you spend on TikTok scrolling or Instagram scrolling, you could have been using doing your hobby. You understand? So no more excuses about that bullshit. I don't want to hear about that shit. Like, I don't have time. You have time. You just spending it, You're not spending it wisely. So you got time, we got time. You make time for the shit that you're supposed to be doing, or that you truly want to do, right? So I don't really want to hear about, I don't have time to do it. You got time. You just not making time. You know what I mean? Because if you spent 4 hours on your phone doing not shit, you had time to do what the fuck you say you ain't got time to do. So the next point, we get influenced often by others on social media. And this is kind of like the point I was making earlier about, comparison, right? Some of the shit that rubs off onto us from social media, it's not even authentically ourselves. You know what I mean? The true us don't even identify with this shit. It's starting to warp our mind frame about certain things, people and places, or just certain things, right? It's removing us from our own center. You know what I'm saying? It's removing us from our own understanding of life. You know what I mean? And furthermore, it's helping diminish independent thought. Now, I've did a podcast episode on independent thought and how they killed it, 3 ways that they've killed it. And social media can be thrown right in there with, as the 4th thing. So this really starts to influence how you think and how you feel about things, not understanding that the authentic you doesn't feel or think like that at all. But you don't know that because you've been constantly taken apart in this social media. This is another form of brainwashing, right? Another way of brainwashing you into being a part of the masses. Usually whatever the masses program is something to be rejected. It is something to fight against or not be a part of. But because they found little slick and sneaky ways to get everybody involved, a lot of times they get you through these social sites, through social media, through your phone in general. They have a lot of influence over what's going on in your phone, right? So this plays a part in the brainwashing and warping your mind into thinking how the overall how the masses think. You know what I'm saying? You're now thinking how the masses think because they've successfully influenced you through your phone, through social media, right? Even people that were against it before, people of older generations that were against it before, which they were on the right track, but even they've gotten sucked into the bullshit, right? They've pretty much successfully hidden brainwashing behind convenience, right? So watch out for that. Next point. Okay, so this is the last point. We need to detox from our phones periodically, simply to avoid the addiction to the phone. A lot of us can't leave the room without this device. This thing is now a fucking body part. Most people that you see outside are looking down at a screen. Nobody is looking around anymore. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is locked in on this device. You know what I'm saying? And it's become such an addiction, and it's commonplace that nobody is calling anybody on it anymore because everybody's guilty of the same shit. So what I look like calling you out about, being addicted to your phone when I've just spent hours on my phone doing nothing, you know what I mean? a lot of my businesses require my phone, but at the same time, I've often gotten stuck in the loop of, scrolling and mindless shit, right? So you want to monitor that. You want to take necessary breaks, detox from social media, your phone, really everything, the technology in general, you know what I'm saying? Get in nature, get back in tune with the true you. As I said before, take time to meditate, take time to do your spiritual practices without the distraction of phones. Yes, sometimes, a lot of times we like to play music or tones when we meditate, or when relaxing and shit like that, but take time to do it without that too. You know what I'm saying? Take time to do it without the phone in any sense. We really need to get back to ourselves. The vibration on the planet has risen overall, so we need to take advantage of the fact that we can tap into things on a spiritual level even easier now when we're not being distracted by the phone, right? So let's get back to ourselves. Let's get back to telepathy. Let's get back to, manifesting easily. Let's get back to our higher selves, right? So this has been the Moonchild Podcast with the Moonchild, his motherfucking self, Elijah KB. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. And until next time. For those interested in spiritual advice, I now have a page where you can sign up for a one-on-one hour session with myself. The link will be in the description. And for any questions and topics for the podcast, feel free to email.